So we're bringing to you for the very first time on Radio Al-Ansaar the Middle Beast Tour, comedian, satirical, political satire and everything, and former heart surgeon. But he's known for the blue eyes and he's known for the greatest Piers Morgan interview that ever existed. We're thrilled to welcome to Radio Al-Ansaar and to South Africa none other than Bassem Youssef himself. Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. Marhaba. Welcome, Sanbonani, Bassem Youssef.
Hey, how are you? Yebo, I'm here.
Welcome to Radio Al-Ansaar. Such a thrill and such an honor to have you on Radio Al-Ansaar. Welcome to South Africa. How does it feel to be here?
I just landed a few hours ago. I'm jet lagged, I'm tired, but I can't wait to go out and explore South Africa. So for me, this is like a bucket list item. I wanted to come to South Africa a long time ago, and to come here through my show, it's amazing because that means that it's a free trip.
Of course, yes, you're coming off a very successful European tour as well, and we're highly anticipating what you're going to pull out for us here in South Africa. We did hear that this was a long time coming from pre-COVID, that this visit to South Africa was actually in motion. Tell us about that. Why South Africa?
Well, I mean, South Africa for me is a very unique country. I mean, the diversity, the history, and also after what's been happening in Gaza, you're the only country in the world that showed courage, which couldn't be found anywhere else. So I'm very happy to be in such an incredible moral country, especially your moral stance in the international stage. So and also I'm very excited to see the different countries of South Africa. This is a once in a lifetime experience.
Absolutely. Did you have any preconceived notions about what South Africa is like? I know you are in touch with Riyad Musa, and I'm sure others as well, who could perhaps shed some light or fill you in on this is what you can expect in South Africa. What are some of the thoughts that are going through your mind when it comes to South Africans? What do you expect to see or eat or hear?
I think the one thing that you should expect from South Africa is not to expect anything, because you get surprised by every single corner, by the diversity of the people that comes to you. Like, I have been here only for maybe a couple of hours, and I have seen 10 different types of South Africans. So you cannot really nail what a South African looks like, think like, feel like, talks like. The diversity here is just amazing. People from different backgrounds, I don't know, first, fourth generation Indian, South African, Zulu, white Afrikaners. It's just I haven't seen any place like that. And I have only been here for a few hours. So it's so exciting for me.
Fantastic. We're looking so forward to hearing from you as well, especially when you come to Durban. But let's take it a little step back. When you hear that you are a heart surgeon, you're known for what you do now on the stages around the world. But tell us, how did a heart surgeon decide that this is what he wants to do with his life?
Well, basically, I did what every child that was forced into medicine by his parents, something Indians and South African Indians would know. So I started so I kind of rebelled against being locked into a profession that I don't like for the rest of my life. And instead, I go on stage and I share the laughter with thousands of people every day. So for me, that's a blessing.
But I find it a common factor as well that doctors make very good comedians. I mean, you have Riyad Musa, and then South Africa has a Suhail Issa and a few others as well who come from a medical profession, and they're incredibly funny on stage. Do you think there's some sort of connection between the medical fraternity or a medical career and actually comedy? Why is it that doctors make such good comedians?
Because in our medical field, we were very depressed. So for us, this is an kind of a release. We've been in a very, very bad profession, depressing us. So we decided to rebel against it by humor, which, if you think about it, this is what we do against totalitarian regimes. We rebel against them by making jokes.
I think that's great. But hopefully you've come out of that state of depression now, of course. But what an exciting time to actually get to South Africa also, with the internet is currently abuzz with activity today, with one name just popping up on our feeds. And I had to ask your thoughts today. And the entire team was like, please ask him his opinions on this. And it is, of course, the one and only orange-haired man, Donald Trump. We want to know your thoughts. He's dominating the headlines today with his amazing, very thought-provoking comments and his press conferences and everything. Your thoughts on what's transpired in the past 24 hours, if you've managed to catch any, which I'm sure you have, but I found it perfectly timed.
Well, I am surprised that people are surprised. It's as if we didn't go through 4 years of Trump where we felt like this every single day. I don't know why people are surprised. For 4 years, he is used to. He's just like he does that. He throws all of these statements, and then he leaves, and then we just like spend time acting to it. He's been always like that. He did that through his 4 years. He did it when he was off the presidency, and he's doing it again. So I don't know why people are surprised.
I think people were almost hopeful now that things not with him, but just in general, people are looking at people returning and stuff, and they want to focus on that. But you can't help.
Where does that hope come from? I mean, where did Donald Trump say anything positive about Palestinians? Where did Trump say anything that they're accusing Israel of that they're doing was wrong? Where does the hope come from? I don't understand. I mean, it seems that like as if Trump was a peacemaker, and then he came back on his promises. Where did the surprise come? I mean, I'm surprised that you guys are surprised.
So is he contradicting himself with this whole, when he wants to focus on America, let's make America great again, and all of a sudden it seems like all his focus is shifted somewhere else? Do you think he's putting?
I mean, guys, haven't you followed him on his speeches talking about like how he did this for Israel, did that for Israel, this for Israel? I mean, for him, making America great again is just like making Israel greater. But at the end of the day, I don't know. Like the Democrats did the same while being just like nice and diplomatic. Trump is just doing the same thing while looking in our eyes himself. I'm gonna screw you guys over. So maybe it's better to just like remove the facade and understand what we're up to. This is the raw imperialistic face of America, of the West world. And this is the same way when England and France were ruling the world, or the Spanish and the Portuguese, or before that the Roman and the Greeks. They didn't care about politics. We have weapons. We're gonna take your land. You are going to abide, and we have weapons to make you to convince you. So this short honeymoon we had after the Second World War with the UN, the Declaration of Human Rights, the Geneva Convention, is it just? And even that, we still had Vietnam, we still had invasion of Iraq war. So I don't know why are we surprised. Imperialistic Europe, imperialistic America never went away. It is just they were busy fighting each other in First and Second World War, and now they are back to doing their same thing.
It's scary now when you look at what's happened now since he's taken over. He's withdrawn the US from the Human Rights Council. They've defunded the UNRWA. You have ICE now popping up. You've got the illegal immigrants who are being deported. We're seeing pictures and videos of that all the time. And then when it comes to the Palestinians, he's wanting to relocate them. And I love, being Egyptian, I want to know your thoughts on what he says, that Jordan and Egypt can't say no to him now. They've said no before. Now they can't say no. Do you think that's something that's a possibility?
Well, I know what the people think. The people think that no, that will not happen. I don't know what will the leadership will say, because they have different, different game to play. I don't know what kind of pressure will be put on them. I mean, I hope that the leadership will, for once, follow the lead of their people, not the opposite. But go look at the bright side. Elon Musk is the president of the United States. So.
Absolutely. If we were to create a Marvel movie, right, and you were the director of the movie, and you had to put countries as certain characters of the movie, how would you let that play out? Who would your key characters be?
US would be Dr. Doom. I think Dr. Doom, and that would be the end of it. Or Thanos, he would just like snap their fingers and half of humanity would be gone.
Fantastic. Now, South Africa is really, just to switch a little bit from America to here back home in South Africa, we have something what you call a SONA. It happens every year. It's a State of the Nation address. The president addresses our country. He talks poverty. He talks hunger and all of these things that are important to South Africans. It happens every year and it's taking place tomorrow in Cape Town. So it's a really big event and it's something to anticipate. If you were given that sort of position, where you were made the leader for the day to address the world and address what you needed addressing, what would be some of the most important things you would want to address?
It is called the SONA?
Yeah, State of the Nation address.
I found out that you guys have a national unity government.
Yes. They have unite. They've come together. They have merged everyone and all their ideologies together. Whether it will work, we will wait and see.
Yeah.
But it's wonderful to see it from your perspective. And I'm sure you're holding tight-lipped all the thoughts that you possibly want to bring out on stage on Friday. What can listeners actually expect? Are we going to get roasted as South Africans?
No. I mean, the show is really about like my personal story in Egypt, in the United States, what I've been through as a doctor, what I've been through as a comedian, and I think it's a personal story that anybody can relate to, because we all have like, as whether I'm a Muslim, I'm an African, I'm a Middle Eastern, I'm an Arab, and I think this so many levels that we can resonate with South Africa. At least two of them, Muslim and brown.
So what are some of the, we had the listeners actually pose a lot of questions that they wanted us to ask you. So some of the questions, the first thing is, what are some of the misconceptions people may have about Egyptians?
Well, it depends. Like, I mean, well, first of all, if you're really, really out of it, you will think that we live in pyramids or we ride camels to the school, but that's really overrated. That's outdated. But I think, it's the same way if you ask the question, what are misconceptions people have of South Africa? I think South Africa being diverse, it's very difficult to pinpoint a difficult misconception, And I think if you are not under a rock, you will not have a misconception about either countries. But at least like both of our countries have played soccer together so many times, where you guys had the upper hand in the last two games. So I'm very angry at South Africans for that.
Oh, so another question had come through. Do you have any secret hobbies or skills that people will be surprised that you're actually really good at?
Yes, I'm a salsa dancer.
Wonderful. We'd love to see a demonstration of that.
And I also do kite surfing, which I don't know if I'll have time to catch it in South Africa.
Possibly in Cape Town. How did you? This question came through from one of Durban's most popular homeopathic doctors, and she asked, "How did you inherit your blue eyes?"
Genetics. Both of my parents actually, like my father has blue eyes and my mom was green. But that's another misconception people have about Egyptians. We have about 5% of the population with colored eyes. So because you have to understand, like we are in the middle of everything. We are like there in the corner of where we had like all kinds of people coming in and out. It was a huge trade thing. So we had French and Europeans and Arabs and Africans. We have a very, very huge mix. Like in the south of Egypt, we have Nubians. We have people who share blood with Sudanese, Saudis. We're a very, very mixed population.
That's amazing to know. I want you to emphasize to us in the comedy field and having to address and somewhat get certain important, poignant messages across. How easy or how difficult it is, or how important is that to actually be able to use humor and comedy to get some really important messages across, and how effective is it going ahead in the future?
Well, the most important or the most difficult part of it is to be funny, because you can try comedy to get these gaps like smaller, but if you're not funny, you'll fall on your face. There are people who use logic, who use information, and it's a hit and miss. But comedy is you either make them laugh or not.
And one thing that did make us laugh and stuck with us, and you will always somehow be associated with, is the Piers Morgan interviews and shows. So on a final note, I want to know about that one. It left a lasting impression on so many people, with many even critiquing it sometimes. They're saying he used you almost for his own publicity for his show. And some say, does it fall on deaf ears? How impactful is it actually? How important is it for personalities like yourself to get onto mainstream platforms and express those views that you expressed, or explain it in the ways that you explained it?
Well, I mean, for the people who criticize him, I mean, what do they expect to do? I mean, this guy, the guy had a huge platform, and I got my voice across. Whether he used that for his own views, it doesn't matter, because I don't understand. Like, you have a cause that you feel very strongly about, which is the Palestinian cause. And at the end of the day, we live in a world where you have to reach as many people as possible. So if that only was done, I mean, that's enough for me. Whether or not he gets views or gets, I don't really care. If he used me, I used him, you know. It's just like there are always people who have something to say. At the end of the day, I'm a comedian. I'm not a politician. I don't have answers. I don't have solutions. I don't have magic, answers for the problems. I just laugh at things, and that's the extent of my power, really.
Absolutely. But you also have quite an extent when I realized you were actually voted as one of 100 most influential people in the world. What would you think is making you so influential?
I think they were missing a few spots, and they had to fill it with any names.
I don't think so. I think you've just certainly earned it. You've earned that gold medal as well for outstanding contribution to public discourse in May last year also. So big ups with that as well.
What? Did I get a gold medal?
It says so, yes. It says that you won. Did they not give it to you? Or is it like a symbolic gold medal?
Of course, I don't know. But to get a gold medal for... That's like that's the Olympics of despair.
Of public discourse. But well, it's wonderful. And why should people come through on Friday? The Durbanites in particular. Why should we come through on Friday? And just to reiterate what they can expect at Friday's show.
Well, you can either come expecting a laugh, or come expecting disappointments and see me fail on stage. Either way, you're gonna have a great time.
Highly unlikely. Absolutely highly unlikely. Thank you so much for spending some time with us out of your busy schedule. And we so look forward to seeing you all there, seeing you. The radio team is so excited to actually be there at the show on Friday. We are so excited. All the best to you, and keep well. Take care of yourself, and we will speak to you soon on Friday, inshallah.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.